What up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Source and Company Live. I am your host, Source, of course. We're on TikTok. Feel free to tap the screen, share the live, do what you feel what you do. And we're gonna talk a little music here. Today's company is my guy. I've known him for 20 years, maybe something like that. It's been a long time, and he's been a hip hop artist for a minute. Like I said, he is the CEO of Charged Up Entertainment. He has. I gotta ask him how many albums he's had in his career because I'd be lying. I'd be lying. I'm gonna guess 20. I'm gonna say 20. That's my number I'm going with. But a lot of the albums, a lot of projects. Has his most recent project, Richmond Brave, with his man Big No.
Yes, sir.
Just came off. A matter of fact, he just pulled up from. Can I say where you were?
Yeah, I just got back in town this morning from New York. So shout out to everybody in New York City, New York
Yes,
State,
sir.
Jersey.
NYC. My
Yeah.
man Noah O. Tap. Well, you can't clap. Tap the screen. Do something. Tap in.
Double tap tap. Hey, good luck, man. Thank you for checking out the site. Conway,
Absolutely.
you checked out the site.
Where yeah, Conway Liddy will always show some love. And
Yeah, that's right.
he said you gotta get him a hat too. So I'll be
Oh
rocking this
yeah,
joint on a regular basis.
man.
This is a Noah O exclusive, by the way, from the Charged Up store. Speaking of which, how you doing? Like you good? I know you
Who
said
me?
you just got back. Yeah. I'm
Yeah, yeah.
talking to you.
Look, hold on. Can I flip? How you do this? Can you?
What you trying to flip the camera?
Yeah, yeah. To everybody watching, I'm here at the store now. You know what I mean? Like you said, from VA to the Bay.
Yeah.
But we rep in Richmond, VA now, so you know. And yeah, here's the hats. Here's some of the hats. But yeah, man.
It's love. It's love. Theo, what up?
Yeah, we back at work, man. The work don't stop.
And indeed, I hear that. I hear that. How was your trip? How did things go? I don't know what you were doing specifically, but
Um,
how was it?
that was good. I had an interview up there with a new platform that hasn't come out yet. They interviewed me out in Queens and went to a few shows, helping an artist that's associated with me wrap up an album, as well as just some networking, attended some networking with some companies and things I'm looking to do business with. So things is
Word.
good.
Excellent. Excellent. Dog, like I mentioned, Noah has been doing this thing for a long time. Actually, back in the day, I remember I think we did two songs. We did two songs.
Yeah.
Well, we were both on two songs, I should say, together. So he's been in the game for a minute. Um, from the music to running your own business. I mean, full time dad, full time dad. Um, you do a lot of things. And again, we talk on a regular basis, so I know a lot of this stuff about Noah that he's gonna say, but I'm gonna ask you anyway because the people don't know. So we just want to share a little information if it's all right with you.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Let's jump around. First of all, you got the project that dropped I want to say a couple months ago, maybe 2 months, was
hmm
it 2, 3 months ago? Has it been that
Uh,
long?
when we dropped it, I think we dropped it at maybe February. So yeah,
February,
it's
yeah.
been a couple months now. We dropped the
Richmond
album,
Brave.
Richmond Brave.
With your man Big No. Big No. First of
Yeah.
all, the album is dope. Check it out.
Thank
It's on
you.
streaming platforms. Like you can find it on streaming platforms. Um how you feeling about that and how has the response been? Has it been what you thought it was gonna be?
Yeah, it's actually the response been real good. Me and Big No, to everybody who's watching, we come from different backgrounds musically. I'm more on the hip hop side of things. He's more on the street hip hop side of things. So yeah, it's been really a lot of love. We've been doing a lot of I'm getting, because we're from two different worlds, so I'm starting to get attention from maybe people who wouldn't necessarily like enjoy my music or didn't
Right.
know that I could step outside of what people have heard me do. So that's been good. The one of the songs on the album, the first single we dropped, It's been picked up by radio here in Richmond, Virginia. So it's going well, man. We've just been out here promoting it, hitting a lot of interview platforms, doing a lot of shows. So things been good, man. It's going good.
Excellent. Yeah, the album is tough too. I don't know if I said that at the beginning. The album is tough, and I wouldn't say it was if it wasn't.
Nah,
Y'all already know. Y'all already know. So yeah, definitely check that out. Um, like I mentioned to you, actually, the album is very Richmond. Like
yeah.
I don't know if I've said that to a lot of people. Like obviously, some people that that's all they talk about is Richmond, whether it's
Hmm.
hood or whatever it may be. This album was very Richmond, and it just I don't know what it is about the project. Maybe you can tell me. I don't know what it is about it, but it felt like Richmond. Maybe it's just hearing different spots that I know, different places, and hearing it from different people, multiple people on the album.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is, part of it. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, that um the topics, we really just talking about our experiences, and that's so a lot of our shared experiences are based around our growing up in Richmond, Virginia. So to anyone who's watching this who's never, visited Virginia, if you listen to this album, it's a good it's a good representation, we feel, you know what I mean? And we're from like Richmond's a smaller market, it's a smaller city. Virginia has gained some notoriety, but the artists who have are from a different part of the state. So we just wanted to create something that would kind of bring people into our world and
Yeah.
our experiences. So
Shout out, got to mention, shout out to Skills, of course. You always got Skills and D'Angelo. Those are probably the biggest artists that people recognize the name of, nationally from over the years. So shout out to them.
yeah, shout out Skills. I got on his sweater and I just actually seen him today.
Oh
I
yeah,
was Yeah, I was with him a little while ago.
word, word. Um, so we talked about the album. Like, do you know how many albums you've had?
Man, let me see. I think it's about matter of fact, I have my computer right here, so let me just check.
Because you got
I dropped about
series.
Yeah, I've dropped about dude, 25 projects, something like that. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I've
I
dropped
know it was in
about
that 20 range.
yeah, between mixtapes, uh, what I call official projects, mixtapes, EPs. I'm like 20 something projects in. So
That's crazy. And still going strong. That's the dope part. Still going strong. And
yeah,
I mentioned that to you before. I was like, bro, I salute you for keeping going, keep pushing in your craft. Because I was like, I had to tap out. I tapped out again. I'm a little older than you, so
yeah,
maybe I didn't necessarily. I mean, I didn't start young.
yeah.
You started younger. I didn't start young, and I tapped out early. You started younger than me, but you've been here and held on even to this time. I mean, you've been from doing shows here and there to appearances on different shows that people may recognize from Sway in the Morning a couple times on that joint. He was on with Rosenberg too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, shout out to Rosenberg. Yeah, Rosenberg be playing some of my songs. Uh, who else? What's not DJ Envy. I've been up at Hot 97 with the heavy hitter. Man, DJ Enough. That yeah,
Enough,
with DJ
yeah.
Enough. I've been on several like freestyle platforms across the country. High Off Life in Atlanta. Chinatown Sounds is one based in New York. Um, Go Live Radio, which is based in Virginia. So yeah, I've been fortunate to be recognized by like different underground and different hip hop platforms and publications, things like that.
It's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing. And you repping VA, so it's all love for that. VA and the Bay, but VA for the
Yeah, VA man, we gotta let people know we here, man.
exactly,
Like
exactly.
what you're saying, like, bro, I feel like rapping is like I think the only thing, the main thing in life I'm good at. So
Well, yeah.
to that,
I I I mean, I don't know if that's true or not, but I can respect that though. I can respect that. Um, I would say, obviously from the outside looking in, I don't know your personal life that detailed, but I know that you are a present father. I do know that. Matter of
Yeah,
fact,
yeah,
I I think I told you this before. When you came to the crib years ago, you had one of your sons with you. You brought one of your sons. You were actually having a conversation because apparently he did something. Something happened, and you were verbally disciplining, having a conversation with him in that moment at my house.
yeah, man. Shout out to everybody with kids. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I have kids, man. I've had kids ever since I've been a teenager. So I know like some people, may have a career or rap or do other things when they have kids, it kind of slows things up. But I've had children since I was a child. So it's like I've always had to, do what I do while balancing that. So I think that kind of makes it easier. Yeah, definitely like something I've grown up doing.
Yeah, yeah.
Me
How
having kids and hip hop go hand in hand.
what'd
Hey,
you
can you
say?
give me 1 second?
Yeah, yeah, you
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
Yeah, like I said, he's at the gig, at his store, the charged up store, um, in Richmond. So he's working and being interviewed at the same time. What's up, D? Matt, what's happening? Appreciate y'all sliding through. Yeah, you had to. Like I said, my man is at work and interviewing at the same time. So you are the CEO, the chief executive officer
yes,
of
sir.
Charged Up Entertainment. Talk to me about
hmm
Charged Up and I don't want to call it a movement, but I think you call it a movement. You say the Charged Up movement.
Charged Up is, you know, Charged Up is our store. It's the brand. It's just like that's the movement. Um, I feel like in hip hop, especially the time period I grew up in, like, and I started like being involved with hip hop, 90s, 2000s, like movements are always stronger than solo artists to me. You know what I
Right.
mean? When the
Mm-hmm.
artist is attached to something bigger than themselves. So that was always the plan. Like for me, and the homies growing up is like we want to be like Wu Tang or like No Limit or Rough Riders or pick anyone Rockefeller.
Yeah.
So it's like Charged Up is definitely something bigger than me. I'm just like I'm just like one of the mascots. You know what I mean?
what what made you create the actual store? Like you have a legit store that you are in right now. What made you actually open up a store as opposed to hand to hand? I'm sure you've been through the hand to hand thing over the years.
Yeah. Man, yo. So originally I started dropping apparel in conjunction with like album releases. Like I'd put out a shirt or a hat or one piece here and there. But I had one of a friend actually like challenged me, and I had always been into like sneaker culture, streetwear, vintage things like that. That's something I had always done, like kind of on the side, um, in addition to music. But I kind of kept it separate from my music. You know what I mean? And I think the more that yeah, the more I had a friend challenge me, and he told me, he said, what, when you put out clothing, you sell out, right? He brought that to my attention. He's like, when you drop something, you sell out. So why don't you continuously release clothing? I had tried to keep it restricted to coincide with albums, but I had never looked at it like that. Like, man, I guess I was afraid that if I dropped clothing outside of my album releases, like maybe it wouldn't sell.
Mm-hmm.
So once I tried it, man, it was successful. So I just kept, you know, every time every time people look, it's like either I'm dropping music. If I'm not dropping music, I'm dropping clothing. So that it's like one kind of increases the momentum for the others. I,
Right.
I start to see that. So in a day and time where music has become kind of disposable to people, what what will continue to live is like a physical item. You know what I mean? Like, especially with streaming and things like that, people may not see a physical copy of my album, but
Yeah.
when they see a shirt or a hat, that's advertising and pushing the movement and everything we're doing without having to continuously drop music. So over the last few years, especially during the pandemic when we couldn't do live shows, we couldn't really be out in public like that. That's when I really like just started making more apparel. And because people couldn't weren't really going out to shop, people were ordering a lot of stuff directly from me. So I saw that increase, and besides that, it just kept going up to the point where I couldn't manage it all by not having a store. Like people wanted to meet me or have me pull up, and like I said, there weren't events at first, or there weren't enough events. Like there weren't enough shows, especially coming outside of the pandemic. It wasn't like I was booked for shows every week, so I didn't have spots to really like show up to sell, my apparel. So what I decided was like it was the smartest thing we could do was build a actual store, and it's been really like I feel it's been successful. We've been open a year now, but it's really bigger than just like a store. It's really become like a space within the Richmond community. It's really like a space that people come to meet other people within hip hop. Like producers will come through here and just want to play their beats. Other artists will come and kind of hang out, meet other creatives. So it's really serving a bigger purpose than just like this is where you could come get our clothes or our physical releases. It's become like a place in the community, especially when it comes to hip hop. Um, we've had like other signed artists come through here and do like meet and greets. We throw events once a month where we have like somebody from the community come and kind of speak. So we've really done a lot with the space, like to maximize it, besides selling the actual clothes.
Man, I have 4 different things I want to ask you about just based on what you just said. But I have to get to this one. Speaking of clothing,
Uh-huh.
we got the charged up symbol, the charged up
Mm-hmm.
logo that is on your hat. That's on my hat as well. I don't know if y'all remember, I was explaining that there was somebody who was an artist in my city who was in a legal dispute with
Yeah.
a professional sports team. Do you
Yeah.
mind just mentioning that? You ain't
Yeah.
got you
Yeah.
ain't got to go into
Well,
detail and all that.
no, I'm kind of learning how to navigate, how to speak on it because I had a meeting with my lawyers today. So
Yeah.
currently, to anybody watching this, like I'm in a current legal battle with the Cleveland Guardians, formerly the Indians, regarding our logo. It's not just the logo or a symbol that's on our clothing. This is actually the logo for our record label as well. So this is when you look at this is our Wu-Tang sign or our Rolling Stones tongue or mouth. So what I have going on right now is I'm really fighting for um, how can I say? I'm really fighting to protect um, the brand that we're building, or the brand that I've, symbolically that I've represented for, half my life. So it's a big thing, and like it's hard. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna like downplay it. Like, yeah, I have. When I sit back and think about it, it's like, wow, I'm really in a battle with a major league baseball team. And it's kind of crazy because like if you look around my store, like my store is my store is like that's the crazy part. It's like
I don't see
my
I don't
store.
see anything at the moment. There you go.
Oh my bad. Yeah, I was saying, yeah, my store has a baseball theme, so it's kind of crazy to be in an actual legal battle battle with a team from the league that I look up to. But
Right.
yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Do you
And so
think?
to anybody who's watching this, if you uh-huh.
Great.
Oh, I was saying, so to anybody who's like watching this, if you go to my Instagram, there's like a link in there that has like a GoFundMe and a description, like more detailed description of what exactly is occurring in regards to the fight or whatever you want to call it, case.
Do you think? Do you think that they're just going to try to drag this out and overpower you with their finances? Do you worry about
I
that?
mean,
Do you even think about?
uh, man, I hope not. You know what I mean? I'm trying to I don't want to say too much, and I don't know, somebody gets me for defamation or slander. So I
Right,
would hope
right.
not. You know what I mean? I know where we stand legally. I know what I believe and what my lawyers feel. So we just got to kind of ride it out. I know that I'm not going to give up something that, I've invested my life's work in. So it's like if I got to be broke behind it and lose, I'm willing to take that risk. Some people might be like, yo, it's foolish, but, I'm looking at the long game. It's like I'm invested in this thing. You know what I mean?
Word, word. Well, best of luck on that, of course. Like I
Thank you.
said, there was multiple things that you said a minute ago. I gotta mention. I just want people to understand. Um, First of all, I gotta mention the bus stop, bro. I just want to mention the bus stop.
Hmm.
You charged up the label, the company adopted a bus stop.
Yeah.
What's that about?
So the city of Richmond, when you go on the highway, you'll see these signs that says like this stretch of highway is adopted by this civic group or this family. Like it's similar to that, where in Richmond, Virginia, you can adopt a bus stop. What that does, and they can either put your name on it, your logo, your company, or organization you represent. So what we have done is we've adopted two bus stops. One of them is out front of our store, and one is on the north side of Richmond. And what it does basically is like we're responsible for maintaining the bus stop, cleaning it up, and yeah, just keeping it clean. Make sure it's clean for the people who have to ride the bus. Which in the South in Virginia, there's not like it's not normally people that are at the top of like the economic ladder. You know what I mean? These are like working class people who ride public transportation down here, and we just want to do our part to just make sure that it can be something where it dignified. You know what I mean? Just because you don't have a car and you have to ride public transportation, that doesn't mean you have to be like dirty. So
Yeah, yeah. I
we do the
commend you
thing.
for it, man. That's a commendable choice, commendable decision. You
Yeah.
you had mentioned
Hey,
you had mentioned
shout out Conway Liddy. I do know 10K Zuri. 10K Zuri is a dope artist. Shout out 10K Zuri. Yeah, she's dope. And nah, I'm not gonna battle. I'm not gonna do a chat battle neither. Like
yeah,
I'm
oh
not
I
down.
I just blocked that dude. I don't know what he on
Yeah,
right now.
yeah, that's
Maybe
funny. Hey, yo, yeah, just a quick aside. I never understood that. As somebody who raps, like I never understood how people would like get in forums and have these like word battles, like because you can't hear the flow. It's like a poetry battle or something. Like, yeah, I can see the words, but like to me, rapping is more than words. It's your flow, it's your cadence, it's your delivery. So
absolutely.
it's cool words, bro. Your words rhyme. You know what I mean?
Cool words, bro. Way to put
It's
them
cool words.
rhyming words in text. That was beautiful. That's beautiful. Speaking of words,
Hmm.
words. You're a rapper. Now you recently performed. You do a lot of shows. I mean, you've always done a lot of shows. It
Yeah,
seems. But I know you just did a joint with 38 Special up in DC, right?
Yeah, we did one a couple Mondays ago with 38 Special and his team. We did one like the week before that, or really like 4 days before that, with Rome Streets. That's an artist on their song Griselda. Trying to think what else. I got a show this Sunday in Richmond with Benny the Butcher. I'm opening
Yeah,
for
yeah.
Benny the Butcher. And
That's
then on
beautiful.
the 29th, we're performing during Something in the Water, is a big festival here in Virginia that's put on by Pharrell, Star Trek. But we're on one of the independent stages called there's an independent stage called Something Indie Water, and it's like the biggest independent music stage that'll be going on during the time of the festival.
That's like 2 weeks away, right? That's soon.
Yeah, nah, what's today? It's
Today's
29th.
17. Yeah, 29.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
less than that.
yeah, so
Hey,
yeah,
that's
we got
that's fire right there.
that. Yeah,
Stay
man. It's
stay on the
grinding.
grind. Stay on the grind. Since you
Got
mentioned
it.
Gris, since you mentioned Griselda, I got to throw out that you did the joint. I know it's not a big deal to you, but it's still a big deal to the
Nah,
people.
yeah, nah, it is. Because
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
the people in here, they may not be familiar with me. So I know you want to say it.
Oh, you had the joint with you and Conway. Um,
Yeah,
this joint Sidewalks that dropped. It dropped a minute ago, but I don't care if that joint
yeah,
dropped in 2002. Look, I still talk about being on a record with, not even her record, a record with Rhapsody in 2007. I don't care.
yeah.
It could be 2050. I'll still be like, yeah, I was on that joint with Rhapsody. Yep, sure was.
Yeah, you gotta pat yourself on the back. Yeah, I got a song to anybody who's watching this. I got a song with Conway. It's called Sidewalks, produced by Fan Ran. It's off an album I have called Dirty Rice Do. So that's Dirty Rice too. But yeah, I got a song with Conway. I feel like I feel like I bodied that joint too. I held my own. So
Absolutely. Agreed.
yeah.
Agreed.
I'm
You
also
were
on a song with a guy named Oswin Benjamin. He's a dope like underground lyricist too. I'm on a song with Oswin as well.
Osmond was on he was on the Locks last album, and
Yeah, that's
you
big,
and
bro.
y'all were on Sway together, right?
Yeah, yep. I both spit at the same time. The time I was up at on Sway in the morning.
One of the times. One of the times.
One at a time. I'll be back soon.
Word.
I'll be back soon. I don't know Action Bronson. I met him before, but I don't know him. I met him, man. What's his man's name? I forgot. Dude that rap with Action Bronson. Oh, Mayhem Loran. I met him, but I don't know them personally.
I mentioned the bus stop thing. I
Hmm.
also want to mention, well, first of all, because I'm not sure exactly what happened when you were at the Capitol a couple months
Hmm.
ago, and you were speaking to a crowd. What was
Yeah.
happening?
So there's a state delegate named Jackie Glass. She represents like part of Norfolk, Virginia. She was trying to get a bill passed that would give funding to creative entrepreneurs. So what her team and some other groups did is they invited um yeah, creatives to come and speak and say our part on how this funding could be useful. And it was really to drum up support so that people would contact their representatives and get them to advocate and pass the bill. Unfortunately, the bill, it didn't receive enough support, but it's a start. And I know that they're trying to work they're searching for a workaround currently, but the bill would have provided $20,000 grants. It would have allocated money from a discretionary fund that the state of Virginia has to be accessible for creative entrepreneurs, which a lot of the time are, you know, black and brown people. So we were doing our part to try to bring attention to that.
That's dope, man. That's dope. And you know those bills they can't just slide through clean. It got to be some addendums and
Yeah,
add-ons that you really don't want on that joint just to get the people to vote for it. So hopefully
You
that's
know,
something that can come to fruition in the future.
yeah, the thing is like there's been funding like normally it's on like more like a city or county level, but this would have been like something done on a statewide level. And it was a
Mm.
lot of money, and the money was actually bigger than a lot of the smaller grants or funds that are given out. But I know that experience really showed me a lot about like the political process and really how we can like especially as creatives, we have like we can reach people, right? Artists, if you have somewhat of a following, you can influence people, whether it's just what do you do with that influence? And unfortunately, there are like maybe people that count on like a lot of things don't happen because just people don't know,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
people don't care and think like, oh, well, that, you know, they're just gonna pass it and then I'll just ask for the money. But it's like it's actually work, and there's lobbyists and people who know this. So, people with power, influence, or money that want things to be passed in their favor or to benefit their group, whatever group that is, they pay people and work to get these things passed. Unfortunately, when it comes to like, I don't want to say like creative people or just young people, it's just kind of like that interest isn't there. You know what I mean? And a lot of times, people may be like disillusioned with the political process. So they just don't want nothing to do with it at all. But I mean, when nothing's done, then nothing gets done. So
that's
I
a
can't
fact.
be mad. All I can do is my part. And as a rapper, one thing we have is a voice. And if we can, use that voice to align with causes or things that we want to see done, then, I try to do that as much as possible.
Definitely. Speaking of which, a couple years ago, well, we all went through the same thing, pandemic. Uh,
Yeah.
we were all in the house. Everybody's in the house, and then we had the the terrible miscarriage of, I can't even say justice, miscarriage of police duty with
Yeah.
George Floyd. The
Yeah.
weekend after that, I remember you. I saw it like on social media somewhere. I remember you said that you were about to go to a protest.
Hmm.
And then a few hours later, I saw a video of you speaking at a protest.
Yeah.
And I will say this as well, as being that you're not black, Filipino and Italian, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, being that you're not black. And I've seen this also, and I should point this out as well. If you know about Richmond, you know that we had all the statues, all the monuments dedicated to Confederate heroes, as they call them. And a lot of them have come down in the past 2 years, I'll say. You, along with a whole, it was like a whole group, maybe 30, 40 MCs or artists from the area, went to one of those monuments that had been taken down and stood on it, took a picture. What I noticed, and I don't know if I think I mentioned this to you before, you didn't place yourself in the middle of the picture.
Yeah.
You let the black people be in the front of the picture. You were in the corner, in the on the side or in the back. I noticed that. I saw it and I noticed it and I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So I feel like you are not a person that's trying to uplift yourself in the midst of other people's struggle or your struggle as well, but just in the midst of the
Yeah.
struggle that the in, you're not in the front of. So you're not trying to put yourself in front of that. But you did step to the mic when given the opportunity during the 2020
Hmm.
protests. How was that experience, and how did it even come about?
That was like another thing, like again, if you don't know me or you might not know like my background or who I am as a person, like I was raised, my father was very like kind of like revolutionary, I'll say rebel, you know what I mean? Like he was somebody who instilled that in me, um to do my part, or my family, like that's something that we were raised with, like
Right.
especially if there was some type of injustice. And that's like a big reason of why I began to like rap. So when, George Floyd, unfortunately, when he was murdered, I was asked by like some activists to come and speak. But again, um, I've had a lot of family and people close to me who are in those types of spaces. So I'm very aware of like how it can be looked at. I'm like emotionally intelligent enough to not try to place myself at the forefront of certain things, especially when it affects like, one group more than another. And so when I was given the chance to speak or asked to speak, I made that clear. I'm like, I'm very, aware of this. I'm aware of how things get looked at. And that's really what I spoke on. Like, here I am. No, this is a black man who was murdered. Um, I vocalized and basically said like this is not, any other marginalized groups moment to try to piggyback off of this. Let's use your voice or use, you align yourself with and in support of what's being asked of you. You get what I mean? So that's my main point. And during that time I was asked to do a lot of things, due to my position within Richmond, Virginia, or within what I've been able to accomplish musically. I was asked several times, like, behind the scenes by like some pretty important people to like speak up or do this. But again, I know how it's looked at. And like even despite like I say my best efforts not to place myself or this and that, just due to my position as a rapper. And again, like Richmond and Virginia is not like a state where a lot of people maybe as known. I am fortunate where there are people who know about me, but that's due to my hard work. But even despite my best effort not to have it get looked at like that, I was still accused of those types of things, or like I'm trying to capitalize on black pain or this moment for my own gain. And it's just one of those things. People always have something to say. I know I'm somebody who I'm very active in the community. I'm very active in my community, whether that it is fashionable to be so. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
this is part of who I am, and that's why I like. You know, a lot of people are reactionary, and I get it. It's due to the sensitivity of the moment, but when these things aren't popular to do anymore, or say like I am who I am, and I think people that follow me or know who I am realize that. But again, that what you notice, is just like it's just who I am, bro. I'm not gonna. It's not a photo op. You feel me? I'm here to
Yeah.
support, and maybe the best way I can support is to be there, but be off to the side and not distract. You get what I mean?
Yep. Exactly.
Even for that, like I'll just say this without like I've helped facilitate a lot of things, even if you don't see me in the front of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Uh,
I appreciate that, though. I appreciate that. Yeah, emotional intelligence and seeing the moment for what it is.
yeah, it's a rare thing, bro, because we in the moment, we in the clout chasing time in history, and people want to put themselves at the front of shit even when it don't make sense. But I just try to do what makes sense, for me, you know what I'm saying? And for
Right.
the moment. And just be aware of that.
Respect. Respect. Um, Man, we have covered a lot. We ran through a lot of things in a short amount of time. I can't even say what do you have going on because we already talked about. You got. I mean, obviously, you got the store. You got the something in the water joint coming up. Um, what else? It's
Joe,
got something. What else got?
performing this Sunday with Benny the Butcher.
Benny Butcher. Yeah.
I got a big interview coming up in a couple weeks down in Atlanta, with like a notable platform. I'm gonna be on the West Coast soon doing some things. So I'm just moving around, man. And we're gonna bring something else pretty dope to Richmond with a known like underground hip hop platform. So yeah, I'm just trying to connect the dots, you know what I mean? Like connect the dots. I always want to see Richmond and Virginia win, even if it's not me. And I'm just grinding, man, just trying to make sure the world knows about us and charge the movement.
Bye.